Happy Monday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, coming to you live on Memorex from the default location, default route. It's been a couple weeks since I've made this journey on this particular route, which is my default one. After I had spent time in Ohio with family, grandkids, daughter, such. It was a good trip. And the thing about this one is, it hit me that it came after the Funkateers Ball. So I really didn't have time to savor or go over all this stuff at the Funkateers Ball until like yesterday. Because I went right from the Funkateers Ball to the after dinner, the after fooding. You know, we all hung out a little bit. And then went right from there to, I think I might have got a couple hours sleep. Literally 2. Then had to go to the airport, jump on an airplane. Flew to Pittsburgh or Cleveland, one of those, I can't remember. I think Pittsburgh. Flew into Pittsburgh, flew out of Cleveland, come to LA. And then once you do that, you get the car, this, that, boom. You're within the energy sphere of Granddaughter. And that is a 100% distraction. Again, I'm impressed with Granddaughter. I'm liking the things she's picking up and kind of her energy. I say kind of her energy because I'm not sure if energy is the right word. I like her energy for sure. But I think I'm trying to say a deeper, more encompassing word than just energy, just personality, I guess. She is definitely aggressive and will push it, you know, to take advantage or exploit or to explore, to discover things around her. She ain't too shy about that. And again, her sleeping in her own bed, in her own room all night, that just blows me away. That's the one that I think is the biggie. So yesterday was really like the first time that I was able to exhale a little bit, kind of relax, and like look at some of the footage that I got of Funkateers Ball and kind of relive it and savor the moment. It was good. It was good. Looked at some of my videos. Made a video of me looking at some of the videos I had shot. And just reliving it. How good it was, how good the music was. And having that feeling that the music I love, the music I grew up with, the music ever since I heard Mothership Connection over 50 years ago. Still with me, still being played at a high level, innovatively, changed with the sound and tone and energy of this era versus the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And to have so many bands out there playing it quote unquote right. From here to there. And just being able to be a part of that. Just being able to be there, number one. And number two, being a part of it, regardless of what part I play, whatever it is that I am, to this movement, to this cause. Just being that guy. Very, 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 very probably something that I've always dreamed of. Very, very, very how I wanted it to be when I grew up. Very, very, very in the position that I want to be, or that I always thought I could be, or strive to be in life, where I live, how I live. With whom I live, nobody. I don't know about that one. I gotta revisit that one. Because for a long while, I wanted to have a partner or girlfriend, or be in an intimate relationship where we live together, share life, work together, had our own had our own projects to create together, have a soulmate to create together, you know. Maybe she would sing and we could do recordings and be, you know, build something together. That was definitely a part of it, desire or dream, however you want. But started to realize it gets complicated and complex. And I've said before, the highest highs, the peaks of the joys of life and interaction and all that comes with being with other people or in groups or something like that, but they can't be sustained. I feel that this happiness or joy, or whatever you want to call it, that I have now, with myself and within myself, can be sustained. It has been sustained at a fairly high level for a long time. And then when I do connect with someone else, it peaks. And the highs become higher. But I'm really enjoying being Jeffery Scott Mitchell on this planet, my existence and my experience. Even the fact that I can't win in fantasy football. That's probably the wrong way to put it. I'm 1-4. I got beat by 80 points yesterday. Dude scored twice as many points as I did. And I looked, and I was actually, you know, had all my players and did this and did that. And I got trounced. I'm used to winning. I'm not used to losing. I'm not used to being unsuccessful. At whatever I do. So in a way, this quote unquote struggle or this challenge is kind of welcomed. It's welcome to be challenged, and not just to be the, one of the top ones or the best ones or the dominant ones. It's nice to feel it from this angle of having a losing team, not achieving the goal that I set out for my fantasy football team. I thought I picked a pretty good team. A couple of times, the predictions for the score had me right there. Just a few bad bounces of the ball, and I'm 1-4. So that's that. Other than that, I had a good time with Granddaughter. Granddaughter's personality. He was doing something on the bed, doing this, doing that. Really receptive, engaging. And I realized too, all her life she watched me work. From day one, she see me work from home, working on the computer, going to work, the headphones, blah, 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 blah. She knew about my cameras. I love my cameras. Every time I get around her, we start, I set my cameras up and shoot video and do this, and hooked up to the TV, showed her the cameras where she know about video. She said, I want to do the video. She got cameras, and she'll start doing stuff and, see herself on the TV, and I recognize it. And the other day, she was like and subscribe. I was like, what did you say? She's like or subscribe. And she kind of went, if you want to see more, or subscribe or something like that. Because the videos she watched, that's pretty much what they do. And then I didn't make the connection that that's what the videos she kind of watches now at this age is what she grew up doing with me with the cameras. She always been on camera. Always. She always, between her mother having video, and oh my God, FaceTime, Facebook, the video chats, she know all about that. It's to the point where she on the video chat, it's like the person is there. You get to see her turn up. She turned up like the person is actually physically there. Our kids turn up when they have company or whatever. And she know about how to scroll and swipe, she know all that. So, she's, we've been making videos of her all her life. So I see how it fits in now. I think she made the connection between the videos me and her make and we messing around with, and like and subscribe, and the whole thing. It's kind of interesting to see how she may have made that connection. And I just made it my own self. So, and I've been doing it. I just be doing it. You don't know what you be doing. You just do what you like, what you're attracted to, and then you look up and say, oh, I've been doing that for years. And it could be something that could turn into a career or something that somebody finds value in. Something that somebody will pay you to do. And then you turn around, oh, I just been, I did it because I enjoyed it. It just evolves naturally in your life. It naturally became a thing or something you do. So that was, fun, and that it was just a good time. And then just in the whole Funkateers Ball thing, I don't even think I talked about it yet. Definitely a couple of something you might be able to call spiritual milestones happened during there. To where I took it a notch higher, spiritually or musically, inside myself or mentally, whatever, I don't know what the word is. Energy, whatever. Where I took it, like I said, another level. Definitely felt more power, focus my energy, was able to focus my energy and just command my energy. Maybe even command the whole room. They started playing that damn music. Funkateers Ball DJs play some music on P-Funk Radio. I mean, music that was very personal, very touching to me. First DJ came on, he played Loopzilla. You know, that was pretty good. He played something else that was good, I forget. And then another DJ came up and played. He said, I just like to, I just like to play this kind of music, and this is what I do. And we're gonna start off with one of those funky things. I stood up, I was like, what? He said, we're gonna start off with one of those funky things. I was like, what? I was like, all right now. That's a deep spiritual song for me. Spiritual might not be the right word, but the song definitely hits. Goes back to, first heard the music. And then they played on Funky UFO, a version by Octopussy that I'd never heard before, and it was just slowed down and funky. I lost it, I cried. It was so beautiful, tears was running around my face. It was just so beautiful. Then, his last song, he played Color Me Funky. Oh God. See, I don't listen to P-Funk. I don't listen to P-Funk. The only time I hear it is when I go out or something. So it just goes right through me. Oh my God. Oh my God, it was just so touching. Music was so beautiful. And full disclosure, this was like maybe the first time in maybe 5 or 6, 7 years. Maybe the first time in 5, 6, 7 years that I've been high in public. I hit a little weed on the vape pen. Just a little, don't take much, because I don't do it often. Well, at least I didn't do it often. Now I'm kind of slippery sloping. But I don't want to go back to where I was doing it too much and it lost its magic. It still has the magic because I do it so infrequently. So to do it, to be out, and to hear the music, to feel comfortable around the people I was, oh my God. It just went to a whole different level. And there was a time where I bragged about and taunted people who smoke weed every day, live and love weed. Weed is the savior. Because I was on a natural high that made me feel better than probably anything that I had been on, because it could be sustained for like a long time. I was able to sustain this high level of happiness or joy or energy on a, completely sober, no weed or drugs thing. But recently I dabbled with, some weed, a little bit of weed, real little bit. I was going to Santa Cruz show, Santa Cruz P-Funk show, and of course Santa Cruz, walking up, from the parking place to the venue. And dude gave me a joint. You know, we was talking this and that. He's like, here. I was like, whoa, okay. And I kept it. I didn't smoke it. I kept it for like maybe a couple months. And then I decided to go ahead and break it out. You know, broke off a little piece, but got my little pipe that I had put all my weed stuff up in storage. Hit it, and it was good. I went there. I went to that place. And music was so good. Listening to P-Funk, listening to my music that I made. It was like, kind of sort of like the first time I ever heard it. It was like I heard it, hearing it all new. This is music I made years ago and stuff that I built. And just to hear it and really enjoy it and think it's good, how good it sounded, how beautiful it was, and this was something that I made. You know, because I had a little buzz. That weed, and I realized that if it's not abused, it does things. It definitely does things. It gave me creative energy to create. It gave me energy to build stuff and work on stuff. And get it going. A nice little buzz. Just want to play the music, sit in my studio, record, feel the music vibe, and did that last night with some of the Funkateers Ball video I shot. And the Funkateers Ball band, I had a little vape too. Gotta thank the Crystal Angel for that. He was there for me. She's like, oh, I got a vape here. I was like, oh, all right. Because you can hit it right there, you know, inside the hotel in the ballroom or in the room where it wasn't smoke, so I just hit it right there. And I got it. And I felt it come down on me. And they were playing the music. There was people around. Oh my God. On an high, but that feeling, I call it like the first time you had that really good marijuana high, and everything is just, oh, you know, you can feel things. I had that 2 nights with the band, Funkiness Ball band playing, and with, you know, the DJ night, Friday night, and just the music, one of those funky things, and them funky UFO color me funky. What the fuck? I lost it. I was like, you know, I just went above. I went above to a place I hadn't been before, energy-wise. And I felt it too. I knew it. Then got home Saturday. Had a 2-hour delay in St. Louis. Was supposed to get home at 10:30. Supposed to land LAX at 10:30. Landed LAX at 12:30. So I said about Saturday at 3 p.m. Around that time, I was home and unpacked. I was in my apartment and unpacked. So I had Saturday night, Sunday, and Sunday night to kind of just, you know, sit in my sanctuary and just exhale and eat. I brought ribs home with me. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go here, I gotta go there. You know, because I didn't have this, I didn't have that. So I had to go in there, see what kind of food I had in this. And I didn't want to go anywhere. I forgot I had bought a bag of shoestring fries. So I air fried some of them along with some ribs I bought back. And then I remember I bought for the late nights, you know, I did a lot in between there. And then at night, I took naps and I think I watched some football. ate. Just was about enjoying that space with myself and just exhaling and letting it, just basically exhaling. I didn't really start to absorb and relive until yesterday when I was able to just, okay, you're home, you're settled, energy-wise, settled psychologically or physiology or whatever, psychiatrically, I don't know. And just so I had to go out yesterday to get more Black and Milds. So the only thing I did, I went to 7-Eleven. I was gonna get some wings, some food, but I figured something out. I had hot dogs in there, so I thought out some hot dogs, air fried, Mr. Scale told me 198.6 this morning, which is not horrible, considering I was 2 weeks at home eating pizza and potato salad and the such, chips, junk all night, even on work nights. I kind of let it, fly a little bit. Went to 198. Last night I was at 200.6. Still under, I'm still right at the 200 mark. But this morning I woke up at 198. So I'm gonna get out here, try to get back on it. Gotta work a few weeks, no PTO. Build up some PTO, get back into the, walking and eating decently. May have to order some Instacart, get my salad, get back on the salad after work thing. And see how, this weight comes off. I'm confident it'll come off. Even though the weather, and it doesn't matter, I know about water weight and all that, and sweating. I know I'm over that, but I still like seeing that damn low number, even if I'm dehydrated and get ready to pass out. Because I depleted my body of food and liquids. I don't care, I like seeing that low number. So it's not as hot, and I won't sweat as much. So that number won't drop as drastically as I'm used to it dropping when I sweat a lot. Like I said, but I know that's water weight and it don't mean nothing. But still, I like seeing it. And the weather's changing. Halloween's coming up. Halloween used to be the start of weight gain season. Halloween, because you got Halloween, all the Halloween candy. They gonna be pushing candy corn on me. Love me some candy corn. Granddaughter said something about candy corn. I said, you like candy corn? She's like, yes. Like, go ahead, girl, what you know. And then Thanksgiving, days off. And just the weather change too. Just the way the weather changes. I feel like hibernating. So we get through that at Christmas, then New Year's. Gotta keep the weight down. That's when I usually put a bunch on. It's like more than 1 year during this time, from Christmas to January, put on 20 pounds. More than 1 year I've done that. So we're gonna try to keep it under 195, if not lower. So that's why that 198 ain't too bad. That 198 is not too bad. Even though I was down to like 189 a couple weeks ago. I kind of knew going down to that 189 was gonna help me coming back to Ohio, because you're gonna put some on, so you might as well try to take some off. Anticipate an explosion in calorie intake, which definitely happened, which I enjoyed. I even bought some, no I didn't. I was gonna say, I bought some Wedgewood pizza home, but I didn't. I ate it all there. After work, when I'm supposed to be eating salads and doing right during the week. So So I get back to eating right during the week, quote unquote eating right, and get back on it. Get home, probably Instacart my salad fixings and such. My salad and potato chips, you know, such. Because they really ain't that bad. You know, considering how it could drop in a week, how much I can knock off in a week. It feels good to be back on the route, back in some normalcy. Even though I haven't taken a car yet. You know, it's gonna also feel good to be back on my work screen, my home work screens. It's the one I have at my daughter's house. It gets the job done, but it's kind of small and compact. Now the one I got at home ain't as big as the one I got at work. I think I got like a 38 or something, but high resolution. So you get a lot on the screen. The one at home, you know, it's a sizable monitor. Resolution is as high as it is at work. And it costs probably half of the one, less than a third of what the work, you know, what they pay for them screens at work. This feels good to sit down at my studio, comfortable, my chair set up, you know, back in that familiar work area. Feels good to walk and get the steps in and get back to the routine. Start planning to go back again to Ohio. Granddaughter's birthday, I ain't missed one. I don't think, except I missed the first one when she came out. I missed the first one when she came out. I think I've been at the rest of them. My daughter makes a point, you know, that's one of the things she kind of locked onto and sticks to. Doing it that way. Doing it on her birthday, it has to be on her birthday a certain way, a certain thing, you know. Mandatory attendance. So I'll fly back for that. So I flew back, I think October, when did I come back? October 11th. I flew back October 11th. Then her birthday's November 23rd. And I usually go every 2 months, so that's kind of like 2 months. And speaking of October 11th, yesterday was October 12th, which is my father's birthday. One of the dates I have early memory of. It was my father's birthday, my mother's birthday, my birthday, my sister's birthday, and my mother's birthday, father's birthday, my birthday. You know, those are dates that were stuck in my head at an early age. Yesterday was his birthday, I think. It's 9 years since he passed. And the short quip or soundbite I was gonna say was, I don't miss him. Because it's kind of like he didn't leave. It's like he's always with me. You know, I'm always thinking what he's thinking. You know, what would he do? You know, and going through life. And I was saying yesterday that it was discipline and integrity for Mitchell. I said, happy birthday to the real Mr. Mitchell. Discipline and integrity at the highest level. Now, I got doses of it. I definitely ain't no slouch when it comes to that. kind of thing. And I also think with discipline and integrity, you can have any goddamn thing you want in the world. Nothing can stop that. Nothing can stop, well, I should say me. Nothing can stop me if I'm disciplined. There's nothing. Discipline is the only thing that slows me. Me. I can have anything I want. But it's, do I have the discipline or the will to put the work in, accomplish it, figure it out? And I watched that man all his life live such a noble life, at least from my perspective. I remember one time I was at his house and he had a book on the table. And it was like I think he was a Methodist. They were African American Methodists, I believe, my father's side, the Mitchells. My grandmother, his mother. And he had like one of those, not Bible books, but, you know, readings. It was like binded like a Bible, you know, with the kind of that black leathery kind of imprinted stuff, you know. And it said discipline. I saw the word discipline, I got a chill, because it kind of summed up. It was like I was seeing the man's beliefs. The man who was pretty much a God to me. In fact, I say, I didn't need to believe in God. Because God came home every day at 5:30 and I sat down with God and ate dinner with God. It's all the God I needed. It was my parents. Everything else was taken care of. I mean, it wasn't given to me, but I was taught how to handle it. I learned, was given the tools, the understanding, the exposure. I really didn't need a God. I had everything, you know, right there, sitting at the dinner table with me. So it was like, when I saw that book and it said discipline, it was like seeing God's, it was like seeing God's playbook. It was like seeing what God believed in. I still get a chill from seeing that, how that made me feel. Discipline. And I thought about it. That's pretty much sums it up. And I think integrity is a discipline and integrity. That I carry with me. And then after I said, you can weaponize it even. You take discipline and integrity, ain't nothing, pretty much, nothing can stop me. Nothing. Those are the tools and the magic. Education. Like I said, I believed in the American system of capitalism and education. Never wavered from, never thought that it wouldn't work. I always deeply believe if I played by the rules and went to school, you got educated, I go out there and get a job, I'll be successful. Never doubted that once. Racism, whatever you want to call it, blah. It never had me question. Now, there's a couple times I realized that I wasn't a fit for certain environments. And it could be, you know, culturally or race related. There's no doubt about that. And one time I've interviewed for Ross Perot, and you wouldn't even allowed to have facial hair. Now, see, that may not be racial or cultural, but I understand it. Okay, that's not the environment, for me. I never thought it was racist. Oh, they ain't gonna give it to you because you black. Yeah, it might be sometimes they're gonna give it black. Maybe because people understood, oh, you might not fit in this environment. You know, you'll have a hard time being in this environment, and the people in the environment probably have a hard time, you know, dealing with you. Both of y'all being happy. Just from a personality standpoint. So I always believed that I'd be successful if I did what they told me. And I always had my father behind me, and there was nothing. There was pretty much nothing that I felt was out of my reach, especially in the long run. And as I go through life, now, still and always, it's like he's still there with me. I have what he left, his beliefs, what he taught me, what I saw, what I learned from him. It's just a part of me. I don't think it can go away, you know? Especially towards the end, his capability deteriorated, and there wasn't much physically or entertainment-wise, you know, for lack of a better word, that he was able to contribute. You know, you just see him kind of, you know, get old. You know, let's get old and deteriorate and become less and less productive, capable, or whatever. You start to realize that that's the way, it's the way the story's gonna end. You know, get as much as you can from it. The main thing is, what he put in me will always be me. There's no, ain't no missing that. And probably especially since I embraced a lot of it, and a lot of it has helped me to be successful. And by successful, I mean become the person that I desired to be. Because as you may remember, one of the hypotheses is nothing higher than conscious being becoming that which it desires to be. It's the greatest thing in the universe. For a consciously aware creature or animal or entity becoming that which it particularly wants to be. And I love who I am. That's my greatest treasure, my greatest gift. Mr. Clarence Walter Mitchell Jr. contributed heavily to that. I exposed the tools and an example, a role model that very few people get to experience. And then not only that, I, every day, learn from it. And I understood, I learned from what he tried to teach me. I didn't agree with all of it. Acting a fool was my thing. Acting a fool was my thing. And he detested that. He detested that, acting a fool. And that was my thing. So I had to deviate from that part and modify his strategy and plan and tactics to better fit mine, and to maybe even involve them to be more successful socially and with the people, community around me or whatever. Softened it, gave it a more endearing personality, a more attractive personality to it, but have those same tools like I said, to take discipline and integrity and weaponize it and make it a tool to achieve what I wanted. So I had my mother's side is more partying, more earthy. And my father's side, it was discipline. And then you have funk. It was basically there to mess up and dirty up all that, discipline and sanitary life, that regiment. That's what funk was about. So I recently realized maybe 10, 15 years ago that I had that split in me. The funky part that doesn't want to do anything the same way twice, spontaneous, just loose, and that discipline where I got up and ate the same breakfast for 20 years. Or I worked, didn't miss no work, and the daily regimen and the routine and everything put up where it's supposed to be. And it's definitely not a free-willing lifestyle. There's definitely some structure. I love that part about it too. When I walk in my house, I know where everything is at. I know where everything I own is at, basically. Sometimes I even play games where, let me go see if I can find that. That should be here. Organizing my data and everything. I love it. But the funky part, it was that. And just the whatever, just let it go. Be funky. Twist it up. Make it crazy. Colorize it. Make it, all of that. But that right, you have to have that discipline, straight, regimented life for funky to exist. If everything was funky, nothing is funky. And then there's always going to be something funkier than funky. As soon as funky becomes the norm, something's going to come and change. It's going to evolve. Another funky is going to come out of that. And I love that. Funk can only be described by one unto itself. And acting a fool and just being loose and wild and out there. I learned how to carry integrity, but still act a fool and be the craziest. I found a way to let people know that I'm probably the smartest one in the room, and yet the one acting the craziest, but acting quote unquote crazy in a way that shows insight, a deeper understanding of everything. And I don't know if I do or not, but I know the understanding and philosophy that I have has been working for me. And that I celebrate with the dance. I strive to achieve harmony with everything, with everybody and everything. The result is success in life, and I celebrate this success with the dance. All that comes originally from my parents. The luckiest day of my life, the luckiest day of my life by far, was when it was determined who my parents were going to be. It's not even close. And what family and what position I was being born into. So I thank Mr. Clarence Walter Mitchell, Jr. And even at a young age, I was able to see the things he was saying that I didn't agree with. I respected him though. I respected him more than I respected anybody. I respected just the way he carried himself, not so much that, he carried a heavy hand and was dominant. He definitely was, because of the integrity part. There's certain lines you just ain't gonna be crossed. And there was a fear and respect for that. And also a fear and respect of not letting them down, not disappointing them. Do your job. This is what you expect to do. This is how you're supposed to represent the family. Learned all that, got all that. And I was able to take that and implement it into the lifestyle I wanted to live, and I'm there. And I am there. So when his birthday come around or this or that, I'm not gonna say, definitely not sad. I definitely don't get sad, I celebrate it, if anything, because you live on this planet, you're gonna live and die. What you do in between is what counts. That's why at his funeral, I was like, you did it. You did it. You know, we all gonna live and die. We all gonna have to do this. And I was, you know, looking at it, thinking about the body of work he left behind, what people thought about him, how he lived, you know, what I believe he wanted to be remembered by or represented by, or the things he stood for. Whereas he wasn't about making noise, wasn't about drawing attention, wasn't about notoriety, wasn't about being a spotlight. Where I walk in the room, dun, 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 I'm here. But I took, like I said, the discipline and integrity that I got from him and implemented it in that kind of personality. And it's a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing. Got me out here walking every day. That's discipline. Integrity, trying to keep my health and well-being and how I'm seen and viewed. That's integrity. You know, integrity is not lying. I just don't lie. I learned that from my father. You don't lie. We got in serious trouble if we lied. Double trouble, quadruple the trouble for what you did if you lied about it. And then I learned, I made a promise to myself I was never gonna lie again. I remember 1989, I'm in the shower. A bunch of bullshit was coming down on me because I wasn't 100% forthcoming with the truth. I may not have been lying, but I was doing some sneaky stuff as far as having multiple relationships with multiple people. Even though they were casual, you know, people get caught up and then they get tangled up, and next thing you know, you're dealing with, you know, stuff. So I'll never be in this position again. Sure enough, 30, 35, 40 years or whatever years later, I've never told somebody something or led them to believe something that I did not think was true. Lying is intentional. You can't lie accidentally. Lying is deceiving. You can't lie accidentally. It's intentional. I cut that out, and there's a freedom in it. And within freedom for me is a euphoria. All this I'm saying goes back to my parents, what they taught me, what I learned from them, what I got from my father. As I talk and celebrate his birthday, which was yesterday, October 12th, Columbus Day, so to speak. Very proud to carry that Mitchell name. Very proud. I walk in the room proud. Walk in the room proud to be who I am. Proud to be what I am. And people probably can smell it. So when it comes to that music, now I'm not gonna say that I stand down to none. I'm not gonna say when it comes to that music, I'm the greatest or the best or this or that. You know, you really can't say that. You know, who's number one, this or that, you know, ranking as far as devotion to the music. But what I do know is that the relationship that I personally have with the music, whatever it is, however it can be described, I don't think nobody can fuck with me with that. I don't think nobody can funk with me when it comes to that. I don't think that, and that's just highly subjective, highly personal. But yeah, I don't think too many people, between me and that music, do it, to put it the wrong way, using the wrong words, do it better than I do it. Which is the wrong words because it's between me and the music, so it can't be duplicated. You can't compare it. You can't, because it's just so personal between me and the music. You can't take that and apply it to somebody else. It's unique, completely unique. So that's why it's hard to compare, to say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm number one, I'm, you know. But I'll say, me and the music, the integrity and the devotion. There's a euphoria and a power in having such strong beliefs in yourself, as well as, like I had in the music, having such a deep belief in the music, a faith, or you call it a faith if you want to, but to have that kind of understanding or devotion to the music, it gives you a understanding or confidence that goes to another level. And I have that in the music, and I have that in myself. And I have it for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I mean, a bunch of stuff. I mean, but the Pittsburgh, I also know that when one thing about that, the shortcomings, you know, I'm even aware of the shortcomings. And when I thought about Pittsburgh Steelers, I think of that. And when I think about the music, I think of that. It doesn't lessen my devotion and my understanding, my faith. I believe in faith. I don't believe in God, but I believe in faith. Faith makes you a better functioning human being. If you wake up in the morning, believe in this and believe in that, you're going to be a better functioning human being. Makes you happier, more fluid, confident. Faith works. I'm not denying faith. Now, what I will question, and I say will question like it's something special, because I always question. So what I should say is what I do question is what you have your faith in. And I would never ever tell you to stop believing in that either. It's your faith, you do it. You got to do you. You got to do whatever it is you want to do. That's the uniqueness of the conscious aware entity becoming that which it wants, because what it wants to be is going to be unique to that entity, to that thing. So we're going to have a diversity of what I want myself to be, and that diversity will help to ensure the success of life. I believe is an attribute that's going to contribute to our success as a whole species. So if you want to save the dogs, you want to do this, you want to help blind children, you want to cure diseases, you want to go to the moon, you want to develop rocket ships, you want to, you know, whatever it is, whatever, doesn't matter. You becoming that. You becoming that which you desire is the highest thing in the universe for a conscious being, conscious awareness, and consciousness is the highest thing in the universe. See, it comes back. It kind of is a circular kind of thing. Consciousness is the highest point in the universe that we know of right now. So it would seem that most of the stuff that dwells in the arena of consciousness is going to be up there as far as important, quote unquote important, significant, and powerful stuff. All this stems from my upbringing, who I am, and the stuff that's inside me. The integrity, discipline, the funkiness, the outgoing, the personality, the charm, the smile, the happiness, how it all just comes together to be me. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing more important to me, or that I love more, that I appreciate more, than being Jeffery Scott Mitchell, being the person I am. And like I thanked my mother on her birthday a few years ago, she created that. She helped create that. And there's nothing better in the universe than Jeffery Scott Mitchell. You should say the same thing about yourself. There's nothing better in the universe than who you are, than you. Everybody should say and think that. That don't mean you go out and terrorize other people or think you privileged or take people's stuff, or, you know, it goes back to integrity. But if that's your integrity, that's your integrity. If you're a thief and you don't see no problem with just, you know, strength, strongest survive, and you don't see no problem with just taking other people's stuff and killing other people or whatever, that's what you got to go with. That's your thing. You got to go with that. You know, and since there is no right or wrong, if you ask me, you just got to go with it and see how it works out for you. You know, where's it going to lead you? I personally believe that the social systems of humanity, I wouldn't call it karma, but it's not magical. It's just the way that human beings or society or even nature reacts to certain things. You know how human beings react to certain things. There really is no guide to it. It's fluid, and you could say it's arbitrary. It just has to happen. So many pieces come together to behave this way. And there's no central location or one central brain or one central director of all this. They just come together, and whatever it is. And if your life is to live this way, that pressure or that nature or that society or that, I don't want to say group thing, but you know, the public, the stuff around you is going to, you know, inflict pressure on you one way or the other. It's going to raise you up. Hey, you know, what you're saying, we quote, we like. It just so happens how people come together in no formal way, just happens. And, oh, we like this. We can promote you. We're going to make you more significant because we like what you're thinking. Or, hey, we don't like people who do that. That's bad. We deem that not to be productive. Therefore, we unknowingly or even knowingly going to apply pressure for you to stop that behavior or being that. And you just got to live with that. It's your decision. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to be. Go for it. I would never tell you not to. But there are consequences. All of that. So happy birthday, Daddy. You gave me insight and the tools and a role model. And I said, ooh, if I do this and take that and match it with this type of personality in this situation, and yet have the whole thing was, you know, I think I've said before, I had no problem. It's probably my desire, has always been my desire to be the smartest and the craziest in the room. The acknowledged intelligence, just the way I carry myself. That part is deliberate. That part is deliberate. How I want to be seen, the respect I get. Let them know how smart and capable you are. And then you can start to, work in some humor to lighten it up, not to be so intimidating. But to have that intimidation thing, my father had that too. He showed me how to be that guy, without, being forceful or raising your voice or whatever, just a way to command a respect for your intellect and for things that you have accomplished and worked out. I'm like, oh, Jeffrey knows how to do that. Jeffrey can do that. Jeffrey knows how to do that. I was always known as being crazy, air quotes. But also was known to be one of the most intelligent in the room most of the time. Yep. As I walk the default route, default location, living the life that I've always dreamed of, being in a position that I am, the ability to have the experiences I have of my passions. Just being Jeffery Scott Mitchell. Very proud of that. Very happy. And I had good mentors in the house with me every day. I was taught, I was shown, I was taught and shown how to do it. And I watched them too. You watch your parents, especially ones that think they're right all the time. And my father basically was right all the time. He basically, even though he probably wasn't, to me, I can't think of a time where he wasn't right. Well, except for he wanted me to go to the Army, that kind of stuff. But as far as learning and life and this and that, he had the answers. I didn't have to go far. I said, I didn't have to go outside my house for God. God came home every day at 5:30. Anyhow, swinging on y'all. Two times. For me, for the funk, and for Mr. Clarence Walter Mitchell Jr. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffrey.